Most product roadmaps are graveyards with good intentions. Features get shipped, sprints get burned, and yet, at the end of the day, we are wondering which business metric it moved. Today, we are going to talk about the single ultimate framework called the KPI Tree, and we're going to break it down in a way that by end of this tutorial video, you will be able to understand how you can map each of the feature to the business outcome that your product board cares about, as well as how small startups can actually turn into enterprise businesses eventually. This is a KPI tree. It's a hierarchy that takes the three numbers your board cares about revenue, margin, and enterprise value and breaks them down into the levers a product team can actually pull. Read it top to bottom, and it's a strategy. Read it bottom to top, and it's a justification for every line item on your roadmap. There are three layers to it. The top layer is the outcomes the company is judged on. The middle layer is the four growth engines: activation, retention, monetization, adoption, and expansion. The bottom layer is the metrics product team own and the feature outcomes you can ship next sprint. Now let's talk down each branch and understand what we exactly should do with it. The top layer consists of revenue, margin, and enterprise value. This is what moves the business. Revenue is what comes in the door. For a typical B2B SaaS, revenue is a new annual recurring revenue, expansion recurring revenue minus churn. Every product manager should be able to recite their company's ARR and growth rate. If you're not able to do so, you are flying blind. Margin is what you keep. Gross margin tells you how scalable your product is. Operating margin tells you how disciplined the company is. Margin is what turns a fast growing startup into a durable business, and it's the metric that quietly kills companies if that is ignored. Enterprise value is the multiplier. It's how the market prices your future. It's driven by growth, retention, and the predictability of your revenue. When investors talk about your quality of revenue, this is what they mean. So here's the thing, a product manager cannot directly move any of these. You cannot ship a feature called enterprise value, right? So the tree splits these into four growth engines that you can actually move. That's the next layer. Activation means getting users to experience value quickly. It is the bridge between sign up and oh, this is useful. If your activation rate is broken, nothing else matters. You're just pouring water into a bucket with no bottom. There are three sub-metrics that you should consider under activation. Sign up conversion. That's the percentage of visitors who actually create an account. Move this by improving your visitor to sign up rate and reducing friction in the sign up flow. Killing even one single form field can lift conversion by double digits. Onboarding completion, the percentage of new users who finish your onboarding flow. Move this by increasing completion rates, shrinking the time it takes to get there. If your onboarding is 10 steps, ask which 3 you can delete and increase your onboarding completion success rate. Time to first value. How long until the user feels the magic? This is the most underrated metric in SaaS environments. Cut your time to first value in half and your activation rate will flow. Improve the first success rate. What percentage of users actually reach the aha moment on their first session? As a product manager, you must ask these executive questions. What's our activation rate? What's the single biggest drop point in the funnel? If your team cannot answer this in one slide, that's the problem to solve this quarter. Let's talk about retention. It is about keeping users coming back, right? It's the metric that compounds. These three sub-metrics that live under retention are quite important. Active user retention. The percentage of users still active after 7, 30, 60, or 90 days. The better your percentage of users still active after these number of days, the better your product stickiness is. Then feature stickiness comes into the picture. Which features users come back for? Increase the usage of your core features. Grow the average number of features used per active user. Stickiness is what makes it hard for them to rip it out. Churn reduction. It is the other side of retention, the two flavors it has, the logo churn and the revenue churn. Logo churn is about accounts leaving, and revenue churn is the dollars that are going out of your pocket. They are different problems. Logo churn means your product isn't delivering value. On the other hand, revenue churn could mean downgrades, seat reductions, or contract negotiations. You must treat them separately. Any retention lower than 90% is an emergency, and if it is greater than 110%, then you are expanding. Your product is succeeding in those cases. The next one is monetization. Everyone cares about money, right? So these are the very important areas, the three sub-metrics within monetization that we should be focusing on, because that is where the product value becomes the revenue. Three sub-metrics here are paid conversion, ARPU, that's average revenue per user, and expansion revenue. Paid conversion, it's quite simple to understand. It's the percentage of any free or trial users who become the paying customers. That is going to become your ARR. 1 point improvement that you can make into the product that can flow directly into your ARR, that is where you must focus on. Of average revenue per user or per account. Move this by raising your ARPU through better packaging and improving pricing realizations. The gap between your list price and what customers actually pay, you must focus on that. Whether the customers are willing to pay what you have given as a price quote to them. If your sales team is discounting 40% on every deal, that's not a discount strategy. That's a pricing problem. You must fix that. Expansion revenue. Revenue from existing customers buying more. Increase expansion MRR and reduce the downsell when customers move to a cheaper plan instead of leaving. Expansion is the highest margin revenue you will ever earn, and it's the metric that drives net revenue retention above 100. Ask yourself, what percentage of new ARR comes from expansion versus the new logos? Best-in-class products get 30 to 50% of new ARR from existing customers. The last growth engine, adoption and expansion. This is about growth within the accounts and across accounts. The unit of growth isn't a user, it's an account. And the account can grow in three different directions: more seats, more features, or more business units. The three areas to focus on here are seat or user expansion, growing seats inside an existing account, increase seats per account, and drive user invites. Every active user who invites a colleague is your cheapest acquisition channel. Build invite flows into the product itself. Feature adoption, how widely your advanced features are used. Increase adoption of premium tiers and drive multi-product usage. The more products an account uses, the harder they are to churn by an order of magnitude. Account expansion, growing the contract value within an account, win more business units inside the same logo. The classic enterprise motion, land in one team, expand to three, and then to the whole organization. The product manager's job is to build the product hooks that make that motion repeatable. This is how small businesses or startups expand to enterprises accounts. Now, understanding these metrics, learning about these metrics is not where the chapter ends. If you're not able to understand the relationship flow, or you're not able to connect these dots from bottom to the top layer, you are going to fail as a product manager. Let's look at this flow. Here, we are improving onboarding completion. That is then increasing the activation. The better the activation, the better it improves the retention. And better the retention, and then it will improve your monetization. And the stronger monetization, it increases the revenue and enterprise value. This is why KPI trees are powerful. They align the product teams, their features with business goals. Every product team must focus on the do's and don'ts. We should not be asking ourselves what feature sounds cool. We should be asking ourselves which KPI will this improve. And then they should start shifting their feature-driven product management to a outcome-driven product management. That is how your product is going to succeed over time. To summarize, activation is about getting the users to their first aha moment. Retention is to keep them engaged. Monetization is to turn their value to revenue. And expansion is growing the customer accounts. Together, they drive the revenue, margin, and enterprise value, the three pillars that the product board cares about. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below which KPI your product team struggles with the most. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.